Today we're talking about some very simple, actionable things that you can do to create some stress-free productivity. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan Thompson and I am a full-time working mom, someone who is managing the household, managing myself, managing my work, and trying to figure out how to do it all as stress-free as possible. The first time I ever heard of the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, just this little light went off in my brain. And I thought to myself, if I can get as much done in as little time as possible, then that's going to free me up to be able to do as many things as I want to do. So today I want to share with you a few things that you can do to try to increase your productivity and decrease your stress. These principles are coming from a really powerful book called Getting Things Done by David Allen. Not only does this system of getting things done, we're going to call it GTD for short, not only does it help you become more productive and a little less stressed, but my God, it helps with organization. And a big one is just getting everything out of your head and into your systems so that one, you don't always have to be thinking about all the things that you need to do because you trust and know that it's in a safe place, in an organized system that you are gonna check regularly. It's just such a game changer for freeing up mental capacity too. So when talking about GTD, this is actually a comprehensive system you can apply to your entire life to manage tasks, projects, commitments in literally every single area of your life. So you can go as big or you can get down as granular as possible as you want with GTD. So the first thing that you want to know is understanding the inbox. So we have multiple inboxes in our lives. You have your email inbox, you have your literal mailbox, you have your text messages, your DMs, anywhere that we store or input information can technically be considered an inbox. So your inbox, it really represents all the ideas and information coming into you that require your attention. Now the problem with having a very cluttered inbox or too many inboxes is it can be really overwhelming. It can be difficult to keep track of everything and things can absolutely slip through the cracks, or we tend to focus on things that aren't maybe high priority versus things that are low priority. So when using GTD, you want to have some designated inboxes. And I highly suggest utilizing your email. That's gonna be one inbox because we all have email. We all have relevant information coming into our email inbox to us at all times. If you are somebody who likes to write things down, then having a specified notebook or notepad where you can acquire information. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in step number 2. And then utilizing your phone as well. We live in a digital era. So whether that's your notes app or some other software like Evernote or Google Keep, having something where you can keep all of that incoming information in one spot. It's okay to have multiple inboxes. However, too many can become too many and it can be overwhelming because you're going to be checking these on a regular basis. So now that you have your inboxes identified and you know where information is going to be coming in and you're going to be checking it regularly, the first step that you want to try to adopt in this GTD process is the capture step. This is capturing anything, any task, any idea, anything that may require action on your part in your inboxes. Let's say, for example, you get a call from your spouse and they say, hey, I just got into a car accident. We need to schedule an appointment to go to the body shop. Right then and there, you want to capture that information, capture that because it is an action step in whichever inbox makes the most sense for you. So whether that's your physical notepad, your digital note-taking app, or emailing yourself a reminder to your inbox. And the whole purpose of this capture step is to not rely on your memory to do anything. We often give our brains a little too much credit when it comes to remembering important things to do and remembering details, but you got to think about it. We've got so much going on in our heads and we are doing and seeing and experiencing so many things throughout the day. It's really easy to forget to do something, important details, you name it. So the whole purpose of the capture step is to take any information, Capture it down in whichever platform or inbox makes the most sense to you, because then later we're going to review that information. Some of my favorite ways to capture information is if I'm working, I like to write down on a physical notepad what I need to do, and then I make a point later in the day to process through that notepad, which we'll talk about. And when it comes to digital note taking, I sometimes will, out of the blue, say, oh, I need to follow up with so-and-so. I will grab my phone, I will tell, hey Siri, add to my notes to follow up with so-and-so in 30 minutes or whatever. Utilize whichever platforms make the most sense to you, but remember, the whole purpose of the capture step is simply just to capture the information in the moment when it's incoming into you so that you can do something with it later. Next is the process step, and the whole point of the process step is to clarify and categorize the information that you captured. So these are typically going to fall into 3 different categories. Things that are actionable, something that you need to do, take action on. Reference material, something that maybe you just want to be able to access or be able to read or see later on. And then 3, items to delegate. This is important because this is a big part of productivity, is you don't have to do everything, every idea, every task. Doing it all doesn't make you a hero. So delegation is a big part in this and being able to be as productive as possible. Putting them into those 3 categories, is it actionable? Is it just something I want to reference or look at later? And can I delegate this? Once you know that, we can move on to the next step. The next part in the process is the organization step. Now, this is where you can get really, really big with how much you want to dive into this system and get really, really, really organized, or you can keep it very simple. But if you want to go big, here are all the ways in which you can organize all of these steps that you have. You've got actionable steps, you've got things to reference later, and then you've things to delegate. You can get really nitty-gritty and you can organize these by things that you need to do at home, that need to be done at the office or at work, errands, phone calls, things to buy, appointments to make, you name it. This is where you really get to customize how you want to organize all of the list of things to do. And those are called creating context lists. Essentially, you're giving them tags or context, and they all fall under little buckets. Or you can organize it by a project or a goal. If you have a goal of making X amount of income, then perhaps you can organize all the actionables or things that you need to do that help support that, reaching that goal. You can organize it by urgency or deadline, things that absolutely need to get done in the next couple of days versus weeks, months, and so on. Like this one, you can categorize tasks and things to do by energy level. I love this. You have maybe little 5-minute actions, 10-minute actions, things that are gonna take you a couple hours, or things that really require a lot of brain power and deep work and maybe will span over the course of a couple of months. Personally, I like to separate out work and life. I've got a list of things that I need to do in my personal life. I've got completely different system and process over here for work. And then I have actionables listed out for little side hustles and projects and things like YouTube. Remember, the way that you organize this should reflect your own personal style. If you like to get really granular and you like everything to be in its exact little place, then please feel free to get really organizational with it, color code it, add the tags, you name it. But if you simply just need a list of things to do and maybe you organize it by high priority to low priority because that just makes the most sense for your brain, then you get to choose to do that. Okay, the next part in this process is probably the most important part aside from capturing your information, and this is the review step. In GTD, it's very common for you to do what's called a weekly review. And essentially that is just, a lot of the times that looks just like 1 to 2 hours on the same time once a week where you go and you now review all of this information. You take a look at your inboxes, then you organize them by however you want to organize them, and then you make a plan on what's going to be taken action on over the course of the next week. And this is really going to help you assess your priorities and just make sure that all the things that you need to do are actually up to date, whether it be doctor's appointments at home or projects at work or hitting that big financial goal. This is your chance to get a high level view of all of the things that you need to do and that you're focusing on the things that you need to focus on for the very foreseeable future. The next part of this process is to engage, the engagement step. And this is simply taking action on the things that need to be actionable. You've done your weekly review, you've decided what you need to do in the next week or so, and you have a good idea of what might be coming the next week or the week after that, those things are on your radar. Now it's actually time to take action. Plan to make those phone calls. Block off your calendar for the things that you need to work on to hit that goal or finish up that project. This is where you really take a look at your upcoming week. You make a plan of action to complete those things, and then you go forth and actually complete them. And one thing I forgot to mention is sometimes you don't have to wait for it to go on your list of things to do and to do your weekly review to get things done. It's a really important and very useful tool that can help you get a lot of little things done super quick. And that's applying the 2-minute rule. So if something comes in and you know you need to take action on it, a very powerful question to ask yourself is this gonna take me 2 minutes or more? If it is gonna take you 2 minutes or more, then you need to put it on your list to complete later or delegate to somebody else. But if it's gonna take 2 minutes or less, just get it done right then and there. That way it's off your plate and you're not inflating and cluttering up your actionables and lists of things to do. It can take a little while to adopt an entirely new process, especially if you are gonna go big with it. My one suggestion is really just start small. Start by capturing information, whether that be through a note-taking app or writing it down, and just setting some time aside each week to review that information. Start making some time for the following week on how you can make small incremental process on completing those things. This is really helpful for not only productivity and lowering your stress levels, but it really is a process to help you reach your goals. The big picture, when you get really dialed in with GTD, you can set big goals and outcomes and accomplishments. You can have those things up here. And then by process of planning and researching and doing your weekly reviews, you then come up with little steps that you have to take. And this is just a beautiful system to help you achieve all of those things week by week without letting things slip through the cracks. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can absolutely do more videos and get more in depth on this. For more videos on productivity and just managing all the craziness of life, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.